I was 10 in this picture. It was a big deal because to tell somebody you're a national champion, they think you're legit. When I kind of made my name in the sport at Wimbledon 2019, this is one of the dresses that I wore throughout.
A. Coco Gauff has just arrived. Among the largest endorsement agreements in a huge collaboration in tennis history with a Rolex watch. Additionally, let's just state that the response from the tennis community was intense. A few players are pleased for her. Let's simply say a few smiles, others appeared a bit forced. Tell me, then, is people are offended by Coco's success? Way, or is it just jealousy? The news plummeted this morning early. Coco Gauff is formally collaborating with Rolex. Yes, that Rolex. The brand that yells luxury, prestige, and background. The same one that featured Serena and Roger Federer, Tiger Woods, and Williams are on its roster. Coco Gauff should now be included in that select group.
I grew up with the philosophy that sport can help you become a better person. And I want to be remembered as somebody who used their tennis to impact other people. I'll take that. These are the courts I grew up playing on. When I was a kid, my dad and I were looking for us or whatever. You knew we'd probably be out here on this first court.
And believe me when I say that the internet went insane. Fans of tennis were excited. The media overloaded timelines with her pictures. Moreover, in essence, the brand community answered, yes, she represents the future, but not everyone was grinning as a result of anywhere across the tour. Several players most likely choked on their protein shakes upon witnessing the Coco Gauff x Rolex headline. Additionally, leading that list of silent reactions, Arena Sri Lanka. Now, before anyone arrives running, no, Arena remained silent. However, online tennis fans saw that she abruptly became silent following the announcement, which is humorous due to when she's huge, she's generally quite active. Stories fall apart. She is the type of player that who shares her training, her grind, and her wins, her brand sells. She isn't bashful about those things. However, this time, complete stillness, and others took note. Due to the problem is that Coco's new Rolex contract is not merely another sponsorship. It's a declaration. Rolex doesn't merely distribute collaborations. They choose athletes and icons. People establish periods. Federer, ever, Serena, and Coco presently. That has some significance. It indicates that they are not merely making an investment in a player, they're making a legacy investment. And that's the interesting part. Due to Aryna Sabalenka's power, awards, and unadulterated supremacy, hasn't precisely received that type of acknowledgement outside of the court. She is a Grand Slam champion. Yes, she is rated high certainly, but in terms of global impact, Coco's long way ahead, and that must hurt a little. You are able to already recognize the variations in how brands make a move. Coco isn't even at her best yet. Although she already serves as Nike's face, New Barilla, Bose, Balance, and now Rolex. She is all over the place. From fashion shows to she's made for magazine covers. Next generation of famous athletes. As excellent as Aryna is, in the meanwhile, has not been able to break that same ceiling. And it's not because she isn't gifted. The reason is that Coco offers more than just strength. She is a presence.
Tell me about your ambitions in tennis.
What do you mean?
When the promotional video for Rolex was published, it struck forcefully. It was more than simply timepieces. It has to do with growth, family, and legacy. Coco began the video by rehearsing on the same courts in which she was raised, Beach Del Rey. Her voice was audible. Said, "I grew up in these courts. You would find my dad and myself playing on." This is where it cuts to her father, remembering her earlier declaration that she desired after witnessing Serena's victory. That spark formed the beginning at that precise instant. Of everything, and Rolex was able to capture that ideal. It was not ostentatious. It wasn't loud. It had significance. They informed Coco's tale as if it were historical written. From seeing Serena when I was younger to become young girls players nowadays observe her.
I remember she's about 5 or 6 years old and we were watching Australian Open. Serena wins. I remember saying, man, she's going to be the GOAT. And she said, what is the GOAT? I said, that's the greatest of all time. She's like, I want to be a GOAT. So I ran out and bought a racket. That's kind of how it all started.
To be honest, it's a marketing masterpiece since Coco doesn't have to make an effort to be relatable. You can relate to her. She is young but intelligent, self-assured, but modest, competitive, yet realistic. She's the complete package, and Rolex is aware of it. Online enthusiasts have now begun to sketch comparisons right away. Coco is becoming deals for Rolex while others are still grumbling over cue calls. A few rackets are thrown by players. Coco makes a sign agreements. The irony was intense, but it reveals how she is perceived by others. She's not only another sportsman. The face is her. Of the following generation. Someone who provides both grace and tenacity. And to be honest, that's why envy strikes so quick since money isn't the only factor. It has to do with respect. Coco is becoming acknowledgement that others have been pursuing for years.
I think I just enjoyed the fact that, everything is on your racket, your terms. My first tournament that I won, I was 8. It was Little Mo in New York City. It was the first time that I felt like I could do something far in this sport.
It brings back memories of Serena's first secured a huge contract with Puma back in the day. She was also doubted by others. Stated that she was too young and too talkative. Distinct. However, Serena is now a company. Empire. Coco is strolling along the same path. And some others are feeling uneasy about it. Let's be honest. Or has been working hard for years. She has spoken out about not always receiving the same recognition or focus. In interviews, she has even implied that image is sometimes more important than pure performance. And now witnessing Coco receive at just 21, the Rolex bargain must be a hit. A nerve.
It's remarkable. She's the youngest qualifier in history, and now she's about to compete against her idol, Venus Williams.
It felt like a storybook.
Her game is so calm and so focused.
I just remember not looking at the scoreboard the entire match because I didn't want to see her name. The hardest points of the match were the match points. It felt like I was holding my breath. I don't want to be known as the girl who got close.
Because Coco is more than simply a tennis player. She is a symbol of something greater. Her in the 1950s, grandma integrated schools. Her father created a dream out of vacant courts. Factory. Her mother instilled discipline in her. And endurance. Coco is currently turning all of that past into action. She's not simply donning a high-end brand. She's changing the definition of that luxury. When according to Rolex, they selected Coco for her dedication to excellence and morality, it wasn't a random cue. That's what now is what brands desire. Sportsmen who carry not just awards, but a cause. As well as Coco carries that with her wherever she goes. She's discussed her family, her faith, and her conviction that you have the power to alter the world using your racket. They're not merely pleasant quotations. Her entire concept is based on that. That's how businesses think. Aspire to be in alignment. In the meanwhile, the world of tennis is watching all of this. Additionally, you can almost hear the murmurs. Why her? Why so quickly? Is it only public relations? The solution is straightforward. It's since Coco understands. She comprehends what contemporary athletes are expected to be. Voices, not just winners. Not only players, but icons. The arena is an amazing athlete, without a sure. However, Coco possesses the uncommon capacity to create anything she feels larger when she touches. When she prevails, it's more than just a personal triumph, it's a cultural one. For this reason, brands align for her. Additionally, this Rolex collaboration, it is the icing on the cake. It serves as confirmation that Coco Gauff has formally crossed into the domain of the elite. She is no longer the star that is rising. The star is her. However, this is where the humor starts. The internet can't resist turning everything into drama. You had admirers in a matter of hours, creating memes, altering images, and creating fictitious captions similar to Arena examining her wrist. Like, no Rolex. The memes were cruel, but funny. Twitter for tennis even had a field day. According to one post, Rolex signed Coco, since this is her moment. One more declared, Arena will begin donning a Casio in protest. That's the internet for you. Savage but true. Because in reality, this agreement isn't merely concerning timepieces. It has to do with timing. Coco's the timing has always been flawless. From defeating Venus at the age of 15 to obtaining her first Grand Slam to currently rank among the youngest athletes in history to achieve a handle Rolex. Everything about her rise has a poetic quality. She is a living example that when skill is combined with success comes easily with honesty. It comes to her, she doesn't pursue it. And that's likely what causes others to uneasy. As Coco isn't present, requesting attention or attempting to demonstrate herself during noisy interviews. She just works, and everyone notices that she truly exudes calm, steady confidence. Flex. Others are counting her actions. She was signed by them for what will happen next. She is the type of player who is just getting started. Additionally, Rolex is aware of their desire to expand alongside her. And because of that, this deal's so strong. It's not a fast campaign. It's a long-term legacy decision. Since Coco is wearing more than just a Rolex. She wears a Rolex. Accurate, elegant, strong and ageless. Additionally, for someone like Arena, who has been battling tooth and nail for every bit of deference, it must be annoying to watch that. The least. However, Coco deserved it. Each and every only one moment of it. As soon as the social media was impacted by the Rolex relationship, you could sense the change. Each tennis page, sports magazines and fashion accounts had Coco's face was the main focus. It wasn't merely a declaration. A takeover occurred. However, what truly sparked discussion wasn't the actual deal. It was the response. In a matter of minutes, fans began contrasting it with Arena Sabalenka's circumstance. Remarks such as, Coco's obtaining international trademark agreements while Arena's still engaged in combat with line judges, or Arena we should start donning a swatch right away. Time frame for flooding. It was timeless. Half truth, half jokes on the internet. Because whether or not fans acknowledge it, there is some conflict between the two stars. They are rivals. Coco's ascent has been quick, slick, and explosive. Arena's has been tough, sentimental, and hard-earned. Both routes are legitimate, but it appears that just one has the large highlight of the brand. And that distinction strikes hard. Power was the foundation of Aha's career. And unadulterated feeling. She is a powerful force. In court, nobody disputes that. However, power was the foundation of Coco's career. Poise. She is capable of managing pressure, fans, the media, everything. When she moves, it feels natural in front of the camera. When Arena does, it can occasionally feel compelled. It's not shadow. That's simply how branding functions. Thus, when a business such as Rolex, which is renowned for its grace and consistency, chooses a representative, it's not only about outcomes for them. It's concerning the image. Additionally, Coco Gauff's persona is immaculate. Rolex adores history, style, and calmness. Coco possesses all three. She behaves as though she is 30 years old. Veteran in a body that is only 21 years old. She doesn't pursue drama. She doesn't use Twitter. Mysterious lines following a defeat. She simply efforts, triumphs, and beams. And for that reason envy is a powerful emotion. Due to the fact that athletes who feel ignored all the time, Coco's serenity success must appear effortless, even though it isn't. Let's remember this: the deal didn't appear suddenly. The Rolex doesn't give you a call following a successful match. For years, they have been observing Coco. Ever since her 2019 Wimbledon run, she defeated Venus Williams at the age of 15. On that day, Coco was introduced to the world. Play golf. Since then, she has been establishing a reputation that no amount of PR spin is purchasable. That is what distinguishes separating her from the others. While others pursue sponsorships, Coco draws them in. She's the type of athlete that companies aspire to be all around. She dresses well and speaks clearly. Astute, appreciates fans, and consistently displays appreciation. She has never been involved in a controversy, never created a messy headline. For a business like as Rolex, that's fantastic. Furthermore, it differs from Coco doesn't merit it. Her narrative aligns with the Rolex legacy is flawless. Constructed on schedule, discipline as well as accuracy. Keep in mind that the scene in the advertising video where she declares, "Playing sports can help you become a better person." That type of statement that remains. She's not merely speaking concerning trophies. She is discussing expansion. And Rolex does just that. Markets. Excellence attained over time and work. She was even in the advertisement. Father's voice, describing how she began as a young child who merely desired to have fun. You might view old pictures of her first courts, her early games. It was more than an advertisement. It was narrative. At its best. Naturally, the watch she had on a delicate silver Rolex Oyster Perpetual quickly emerged as the most discussed tennis accessories. Now, this is when the irony starts. While Coco received 2 million likes on her Rolex post, the most current exercise video from Arena hardly reached 100,000. Fans began contrasting statistics as if it were a match. Coco 2M Arena one admirer said, 100K straight sets. Harsh. However, it's more than simply statistics. Symbolic meaning. Rolex is a competitor. It indicates that you're not merely competent, you are legendary. We see you, it says, not only as a participant, but as a classic brand. Arena is aware of this, which is most likely the reason her quiet spoke louder. More than any declaration could. It is not a secret. That Arena's relationship was one of love and hate with the press. In a moment, she's honoring a title. The next she's combating those who criticize her for becoming emotional or erratic. In the meantime, Coco must deal with the same pressure, but manages it with ease. That's the distinction, and that's why businesses take note. To create even more intriguing, Coco's contract reportedly comprises not only advertisements, but also a legacy initiative. Rolex will contribute to youth funding tennis programs that draw inspiration from Coco's. You can make a difference in the world with your racket. That's rather strong. She's not simply cashing checks. She is making use of her platform to create something enduring. Moreover, that's precisely why she's turning into the face of contemporary tennis. In the meanwhile, tennis the gossip pages went crazy. Headlines such as the youngest Rolex player is Coco Gauff. Gauff is chosen by the female ambassador and Rolex. Over older champions began to appear. Everywhere. You know, that had to still hurt for some of the veterans. Awaiting a similar acknowledgement. However, Coco's ascent is evidence that this new era of tennis goes to players who are able to balance talent with sincerity. She's not attempting to pass for someone else. She's not pleading for approval. She's simply being Coco. And in some way, that's sufficient to upend the entire sport. Additionally, let's discuss timing because the irony is funny. This agreement fell through immediately after in an interview, Arena stated, "I sometimes think that people just concentrate on specific players." Indeed, that older quick. Because while Arena is speaking about being disregarded, Coco is over here, I'm gathering Rolex deals like merit badges. When you see Coco, you witness a tale when you simply look at a player. She connections with those who don't even watch a game of tennis. She is on time because of this. Covers, presenting at award ceremonies, and now donning a Rolex watch. She's going beyond the athletics. Not everyone is at ease with that. Because jealousy doesn't only originate from losing games. It originates from knowing that someone else is experiencing the dream you believed to be your own. Her ascent continues to grow larger. Furthermore, to be honest, the envy is merely evidence of how far she's come on. What are your thoughts? Is Coco formally the new face of tennis? Let go your opinions below. Click that like, click the icon and sign up for future updates. Similar to this. Thanks for watching my video.